Okay,
Is everything okay?
I think I just started the show. So everything we've talked about as of yet, which is it's only been about 6 or 7, 5 or 6 minutes, but
We've
we
had
lost
some
some good
practice.
content.
We have some practice.
Yeah, we did. So
This can go better.
okay, yeah, shit, we've been live for 25 seconds now. So I
We're
guess
like,
I'll go ahead and restart the show. We had a false start. All right. And now that I've
let's
checked
go
that
for it.
out, yeah, I had to make sure of that. So I'm going to switch over to
We're better
uh,
than live.
the theme song, Tim Easton playing The Lighthouse. So bear with me. Here we go. Let me switch over to, let me start this at the beginning. Welcome to Evolutionary Theology. Here is my friend Tim playing the song Lighthouse, a very song near and dear to his heart, and he thankfully let me use this as a theme song. Here we go. Timothy Easton, The Lighthouse. Welcome. This is when it gets really interesting. We're talking about the simulation hypothesis and schizophrenia. Me and my guest Ed are trying to reach out and find more people not only believe in the simulation hypothesis, but have schizophrenia as well, and actually live with questions. So if you're one of those people, please seek us out. All right, welcome. My guest Ed Penny is here with me. Hey, Ed.
Hello, Tommy. Thanks for having me. It's good to
Yes,
be here. It's good
good,
to be here.
awesome. Okay, so I'm double checking my live screen, my feed to see, make sure we're on there. Oh yeah, it's working perfectly now. Great.
Fantastic. Good stuff.
Yes,
Good stuff.
awesome. All right, cool. And I've got my chat open to see if I can get any chatters in, if people start watching. So we're discussing the simulation hypothesis with regards to schizophrenia today, because me and Ed both suffer from schizophrenia. It's an ailment that comes upon about 1% of the population of Earth, and generally we feel a dissociation or distance from society or having close personal relationships, that may have been disrupted somehow when we were younger. And also, we tend to look to the environment to guide us as opposed to ourselves or other individuals. Would I be correct in saying that?
Yes, I think so.
Cool. All right, excellent. So we met on Ario's show last week on Tuesday at 8 Eastern on the Home of the Neon Alliance page on YouTube. And we had a very good conversation. I didn't get to hear the whole show, though, because I kind of flaked out and forgot that it was on. And then when I tuned in, it was almost time for questions. But I'm glad I got to introduce myself to you because we're becoming friends quickly, and we have a lot in common as far as the things we feel in the environment. So, Ed, you say you've been feeling this connection to the universe since 2004, right?
I have. I have. When I was a young man back in 2004, I'd have been 21 then, which is the typical age most people acquire schizophrenia. in the early 20s. And also, I used a lot of drugs, which is another factor. So I'm pretty typical of the schizophrenic in that regard. But yes, well, the thing is, in my life, I started to see, sense the work of a higher being, hope of the world, higher influence. And long story short, very long story short, this higher influence ended up communicating directly to me, which resulted in me being diagnosed as schizophrenic. Because what happens, and there's more to it than this, but just to go into it very, very briefly, this being, the universal influence around has manifested itself to me in a kind of being. And this being communicates with by touching my body in response to my inner voice. So if you touch me on my left, that means yes. If you touch me on my right, that means no. And this being identifies itself as a part of the simulation.
Excellent. I feel the same way, although mine is more visual and auditory, not necessarily hallucinations, but things that I perceive in my own realistic environment that surrounds me.
I know exactly what you mean. Exactly what you mean.
It just kind of links up to my thoughts. Yeah. So, and I'm sure a lot of the cues that you see as well tie into your conversation with the higher power.
Well, to be honest, I haven't really had that many environmental cues lately, because I'm tuned into the being. Well, I keep calling it the being. It's got a name. It's called Madabar.
Yes, Madabar.
Yes, and yeah, these kind of mostly taken over. I don't see prompts and meaning and significance in my environment as I did when I was more acutely ill, at the beginning of my journey into schizophrenia.
Well, I feel a strong connection to my visual and auditory cues because I feel that the environment kind of reverberates my thoughts, and I feel like the environment knows what I'm thinking. That's why I'm seeing these things that I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of, I have a conversation with the environment, so to speak.
Yes, I know what you mean.
So it's like I have a friend there that like an imaginary friend, like a kid does, but it's real, and at least to us, you know. But you know, I would never want to be separated from it because I feel love from it. Do you feel love from Madaba?
I suppose so, yeah. It's not very expressive about it, but without it, my life would be a lot more boring. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think that can be said for probably the schizotypal personality, in that when we don't find relationships that are encouraging or substantial in our own life, we seek I guess we seek a higher power if we don't find any of our peers that can satisfy our desire for emotional understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So so yeah, the reason for this particular episode is to kind of reach out to other people who may have schizophrenia and also believe in the simulation hypothesis, or have some sort of belief that leads them to believe that reality is not real, or a duplicate or a copy of what's behind the scenes, and that things are kind of controlled by the higher power. We want to learn from each other, share our experiences, have peer support, and advance the species as far as knowledge of our universal consciousness that we can all enjoy. And all the people... go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, I think there's a lot of untapped anecdotal evidence out there. I can provide many, many pages of anecdotal evidence that the simulation communicates with me. And I believe that there's many other people who can also do that.
Yes, I feel the same way, yeah.
And I think we're all coming at it from different angles, so it's a matter of exchanging notes.
Yeah, that's why I want to create a community so that we can compare our...
Yes.
Yeah. So what I've done is I've created this Facebook group called Schizophrenics Like Us. So it's only for schizophrenic people. It's not for friends or relatives or people who are trying to give support to people with schizophrenia, but it's for schizophrenics ourselves, schizophrenics like us. And I'm going to show a screenshot of this real quick. I'll jump over to the picture of the page. Me and Ed are the only members right now, so we're hoping we can get more people to see it. So that's the we'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. William Casey, CIA Director, 1981. So basically, we see that schizophrenia exists because of the Discord. Pardon my French, because we're actually using Discord to talk to each other, me and Ed. But because there's Ed, he posted an address or two, and I said hello. I posted a flower with a little caption there. So, all right, let me go back to me and Ed. Where's my mouse? There we go. All right, it's back to me and Ed now. So, yeah, if you are schizophrenic and you might want to learn more about the simulation hypothesis and how it relates to the universal consciousness, which is Ed calls him Madaba, I call him Ra, or even Mother Nature. Like the environment would be Mother Nature, and then I believe in a God outside of that. So we just want to share ideas and get more depth to our discussion. So yeah, anything to add to that, Ed?
No, but I think it'd be great if many more people come to the Facebook page and we can have, because it's like the old analogy of the elephant, isn't it? The blind man and the elephant. We're all come at it from different angles.
Yeah.
Some of us miss what the others get. Some of us get what the others miss. And many heads are better than one.
Actually, tell the elephant story again, because I know what you're talking about, but some of the viewers might not.
It's an old analogy. Basically, there's four blind men, and there's a big elephant. One blind man feels the elephant's leg, and he thinks the elephant's like a tree. Another feels the elephant's neck, and its trunk, and he says, "Oh, the elephant's like a snake." Then another blind man feels the ears and says, "Oh, the elephant's a flap of skin." And they're all right, but they're only talking about part of the elephant. They miss out on what the others have. So we all have different understandings of the same objective phenomenon.
Yeah, that's very profound.
Different angles, different viewpoints, different subjectivities, that type of thing.
Yeah. So.
And that's what we should do in the Facebook group.
Definitely, yes. Hopefully this video will get out there.
Because some of us have some good stuff, others probably not such good stuff. I know I've got good stuff and not so good stuff. And if we just put together all our good stuff, then we'll have a bonanza and it'll be great.
Yeah. I think if we have it all documented, we can somehow more easily compare differences in ideas with regards to universal consciousness and reality and the levels that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. So yeah, I think we've pretty much covered what I wanted to cover today. Let's see if we can take it let's take it a notch deeper. Let's see. So, give me just a moment. What's a word that pops into your mind right now?
What was it? Sorry?
What's a random word that pops into your mind right now?
Occasion.
Occasion?
That's just popped to my word head just now.
Okay. Well, let me talk about the
I don't.
occasion that's coming up here. A couple of occasions coming up shortly. We have AGI set to, theorized by Ray Kurzweil with his law of accelerating returns to come about in 2029, which is only 7 years from now. We'll have computers that are as smart as a human being. And then the year after that, according to the law of accelerating returns by Ray Kurzweil, those AGIs will be 50, twice as smart and half as cheap the following year. So artificial superintelligence is soon to follow that. And then it's theorized that in 2045, I'll be an older man at that point, but we're supposed to get the technological singularity where we can't predict what's going to happen after that point in the development of technology. So those are two occasions coming up very soon within our own lifetimes that we can see, that are coming, that we can, and this world is changing, folks. Even though it looks like,
Can I add? We're in a world in which the singularity has already happened. It's just that we're inside a computer, and the singularity is happening all around outside of the computer that we're in. So in a way, the singularity is here.
yes, I am a post-singularityist, or whatever you call it.
Yes, but I mean, it's happened. We're here, because we can only be here if someone had a simulated people. We can only be here if someone created such a simulation.
That's a good point. That's a good point that you bring that up, because it's important to understand the timeline. Because we've had a technological singular. Oh, what am I looking at? We can see what's coming in our future, but we also have to relate that to our past, so that we have to think relatively about our position in reality, right? So are we in are we in the past? Are we in the future? We're in the future.
I think we're in the present. Base reality and the simulation are both the present, but if theirs existence is more futuristic than ours, and ours is more old-fashioned than theirs is.
Yeah, like Nick Bostrom calls it a ancestor simulation.
It does, but I have other theories about the simulation, and there has been wrong with it being an ancestor simulation. And I explained this on my what? Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Can I plug my website?
Yes, please do. Go for it.
Okay, cool. I've got a book as well. I've got a book that explains a lot, which I've written, and much of it I've put on my website in videos, me reading from the book. But there's much that's been left out of the videos. But you can see the videos at www.voiceofthesimulation.com. So that's www.voiceofthesimulation.com. And this I've just updated it today, and it's a very new website. And the book I've written about my experiences with Madabar, the creature who communicates when I touch him, is called Madabar Madness by me, Ed Penny, and you can get it on Amazon and other places such as that, and it's also mentioned on my website. So if you're interested in some of the madness that has happened on this supposedly same planet, then head over to the website. So thank you, Tommy, for letting me promote that.
Yes, excellent. I'm glad you did. And I also, and you had sent me a copy of your book in a digital PDF format, and I sent you a copy of mine. Of course, yours is much longer than mine and more detailed. But you go for you're trying to share your experiences and why you believe what you do, whereas I share my research and what I've studied and why I believe what I believe. So they kind of can work in tandem, in that we can understand the fundamentals plus the experience. And so we're looking for more people to share their experiences and fundamental ideas about reality, so that we can kind of come to a consensus as a subgroup of humanity, the 1% of schizophrenic people, because you said I get if it's 1% and there's 7.5 billion people on Earth, and that's 7.5 million people. Is that right?
Yes, yes. Which is like about the size of Germany. So for every German, there's a schizophrenic.
we'd have a race, yeah. So yeah, let's all bring our efforts together as the schizophrenic
Yes.
population, and
Well,
if you're watching this, please do.
well, the fruits will pull the fruits of our schizophrenia and come up with something, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. The fruits that are produced by the mind of a schizophrenic are very wondrous indeed, and we should all be sharing privately our thoughts.
I think schizophrenics are more than just a bunch of people who have a certain diagnosis. I think we're a certain type of human. I don't think we've got a disorder. I think that we're just different.
I agree with that, and I think it might actually be the next step in the evolution of the mind.
Because when they dismiss us as insane, they're essentially depriving us of our dignity and our humanity. Because schizophrenia is just as natural to the human condition as non-schizophrenia is.
Exactly. And just because we share different viewpoints on how we react with or interact with our environment doesn't make us any less of a person. But it's definitely something we can learn from.
Yes. Well, the way I see it, there's comfortable reality, and the further you go from that, the further to the edges of reality you go. And when you venture that far, you start wandering to the realms of insanity. So I think the best thing to do is to be sensible.
Yeah, it's important to be sensible about your ideas. It is because extremism really isn't accepted in this modern world, although it exists, and it kind of grades upon some of us. But and some of us tend to be scared when, or some people tend to be scared when I start talking deep about my beliefs about simulation theory and God and all that. So they're like, "Oh, you taken your medication yet today, son?" You know. So,
One thing I've found is, liking the Matrix, and that gets me going, because no, I'm not liking the Matrix. But yeah, I suppose they're way back in the Matrix. But that's just what, because I have a theory, I believe in this thing called disclosure, which is the process through which humankind eventually learns it's simulated. And it does this in a gentle fashion. It's called soft disclosure. So from many sources, gently, over a long period of time, the truth is going to be fed to us. And I believe the Matrix films are part of this process. I believe that with the Matrix films, you have the truth for simulation theory wrapped up in fiction. So once it's swallowed, you don't know you've swallowed simulation theory if you've just swallowed fiction. And you go about your life thinking, oh yeah, simulation hypothesis, that's madness, it's fanciful, it's far-fetched, it's fictitious, and people dismiss it. But the point is, it's in their mind, and they've got the concept, and it's worked. Because if you do start talking sorry, I'm getting my tongue tied. If you do start talking about simulation theory to people, they'll always bring up the Matrix, and they may use that to kind of knock you, saying, oh, well, you're just copying your phone. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I forgot what my point was I was going to make. But anyway, yeah.
yeah, it's very important that you brought that up because um, they're trying. It's like they're making a fantasy out of reality, and making it unbelievable, you know, to an extent that will make it ridiculous, like they're trying to make people regurgitate it or just spit it out like they don't want to accept it. But you know, like people like you and when we saw the movie, we understood the concepts, so it kind of took our lives in a different direction.
Yes, that's very true.
So, and you and I also don't believe strictly like the Matrix. We've done our own research and come to believe that simulated reality means there's no biological counterpart to our existence.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're
Yeah.
computer programs.
Right.
You're son Tommy, and I'm son Ed, and we're together on some Discord.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no fleshy bodies anywhere.
No. Yeah, we definitely agree there.
It's an illusion. It's an illusion.
Yeah.
And actually, I'd look forward to being. I would like to be a disembodied being. I think that'd be really cool. To be free from your body. But on the other hand, how could you interact with people without a body? And because you need a body to interact with people, don't you? So
Yeah.
if you were just pure mind, you can interact with the world, which I think is interesting because it shows us that materialism and idealism are like the yin and yang. They both make each other up. And I think that's what that's going at. But, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We've got the mind and the body that we deal with, so we definitely use our bodies to portray what's going on in our minds. And if we were purely mind, we would be able to, I guess, just think on a mental level. But that's not really an experience; it's just a mental experience. But the physical experience we have, I think, is a blessing that's bestowed upon us for this environment that we can perceive with the interface that is our senses.
Well, it's true. We can only know our limit for the senses we experience.
Yeah.
And I think that brings us to Plato's cave and Descartes' demon as well. Because simulation theory has a very rich heritage, doesn't it?
It does.
There's Hinduism, there's
Gnosticism.
Plato's cave, there's loads of stuff.
Yeah.
And there's Gnosticism too. I like Gnosticism because Gnosticism posits the demiurge. And I believe Madhava is kind of demiurge, i.e. a creative being who has great powers over a certain dimension of reality. So, yeah, I've lost my train of thought again.
Awesome.
It's gone. I've always said what I wanted to say.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that last part.
Probably said what I wanted to say.
Oh, okay. So, let's see. Where do we go from here?
How did you come to believe in simulation?
Well, shortly after I watched The Matrix in '99, I started studying psychology at a college here in my hometown in the year 2000. And once I started studying the mind and psychology and how it relates to us as individuals, it kind of made the simulation hypothesis seem like a no-brainer. Like, I don't know, it just seems obvious to me. I can't explain in a quick answer how much research I've done and how many books I've read to lead me to the conclusion that we're in a simulation. But it's a vast amount of information that I've gone through to try and either prove or disprove my point, and the only thing I can come up with is positive evidence for the simulation. And so what I research is what I believe. And maybe the self-fulfilling prophecy, but also I've also ventured out into studying other religions and how they believe, and some of those religions actually go along with what I believe in, just like Christianity with the Holy Trinity, the God Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit would be the matrix, or the simulation as we call it. And the Maya of the Hinduism or Eastern religions being the illusion that generates our reality. And so we have to deal with the illusion and the reality. But it's important to separate ourselves from the illusion so that we can understand the pure state of consciousness and explore deeper levels of consciousness. And I've been doing that with meditation, and I find it very relaxing and easing on my mind, especially since it's so tense, having schizophrenia and anxiety and depression and things like that. Yeah. All right, so I guess we'll go ahead and sum up this episode. Um, do you have anything to add, Ed, that you wanted to mention?
I've lost my train of thought completely. But yeah, I did have something, but it's gone.
Oh, that's all right. That's totally cool. I'm kind of at a loss for words myself. I've kind of rambled on here for a little while, and we both have, but I think we've got some good content under our belts for this episode. So we do not have any concurrent viewers right now. It's still at 0, but we'll see if that number increases after I post it. I'll post it somewhere else on Facebook or something like that. Maybe you can post the video on your page. I'll paste it on the Evolutionary Theology group, which you all can also join even if you're not schizophrenic. Thank you for joining us. I'm Tommy Wood. My guest is Ed Penny. We're both schizophrenics, and we both believe in the simulation hypothesis, and we both feel a communication from a higher power. So if you're interested in joining our group on Facebook, it's called Schizophrenics Like Us. Please join if you are one of the 1%. And I'm going to lead us out. Since we don't have any viewers, I don't think there's going to be anybody calling in, so I'm going to go ahead and play the rest of this song by Timothy Easton and finish this out. Ed, thank you for joining me. If you want to stick around and chat for a little while after I end the video, you're welcome to before you head off to bed. But I'm going to end the stream on YouTube, and I will finish up with Tim's song.